Hey everyone, it's Admiral Prince Eric here, and welcome back to World of Warships. On this channel, we would like to going forward to take up ahead the closed test 14.5 for the upcoming public test as well as the new ships. That was recently discussed the way back from last week. Well, I was never watching on the Twitch live stream on the Friday midnight. So yeah, it was on it was on the slab at the time because it's the differences of the time zones. But today we're going to see right now in the World of Warships DevBlog in this latest explain about going further to talk about it. So don't forget about that and be sure to subscribe my channel. So I'm gonna read on this entirely. So first up, we're going for the new public test we'll be ready to do for it. Okay, so the closed test 14.5 is gonna for return of asymmetric battles, the second group of experimental ships, and more other topics. Okay, welcome back to the dev blog, captains. It's time to make headway into the details of update 14.5, and with a fan favorite temporary battle type marking its return as well as the arrival of a host of exciting features across the board. This one's slated to be as action-packed as they come. Let's dive right into it. Okay, so the returning back of the asymmetric battles. Now, in the update 14.5, asymmetric battles is making a comeback once more. It will return with the classic settings that see 5 players face off against 12 bot ships of lower tiers. Okay, this is how I could remember about the asymmetric battles goes up ahead, which is going to explain how I'm gonna make a grind to it, and various commodities will go on for the making the grind. But we'll be ready to take on another action for the asymmetric battles for the public test 14.5 update. Following is the breakdown of battle type rules. So this is going to be very similar, just like in the predecessor of the asymmetric battles took on in the previous updates. You can play aboard tier 6 to 10 ships including super ships of all types. The maximum difference of tiers between ships in a single battle is limited to one tier. You can also up to divisions for 5 players with the following limitations. So up to 2 battleships, up to 2 cruisers, up to 2 destroyers, no more than 1 submarine, and no more than 1 aircraft carrier. Bots enter battle without submarines and have a mix of ships that are 2 tiers lower than tiers represented in the player team. For the second group of experimental ships, so there will be a coming right up to it after it's the first experimental ship to be laid down and deployed for the Mietz, Miasma, and Oregon respectively. Now, for the second group of experimental ships will be have to come in the public test 14.5 update. So, new group experimental ships will be introduced, such as the Tier A Protector, its experimental ship of Congress. Potaka, the Tier 9, is experimental ship of Adatara. And Varese, the top tier, is experimental ship of the Docket event ship Michelangelo. These ships will be available to unlock for all players, regardless of whether they participate in or unlock the previous group of experimental ships. So, if you have not yet unlocked access to experimental ships, you can do so by either using free XP or by playing 10 battles in tier 9 or higher ships. Once access is granted, you will be able to research components using a combination of actual reports and credits. Newcomer strength lie in their powerful secondary guns. These ships gain increased secondary battle range and rate of fire as they lose HP. For players who enjoy brawling in close quarters combat, there will be a great choice. Please note that all experimental ships will be removed from players' accounts with the release of update 14.7. Now, for the Clan Battle Season 30 Man of War. So in this update though, launches a new season of Clan Battles codenamed Man of War, featuring a fresh tactical twist. Classified documents will be active in this season. We intend to gather information and player feedback, and this feature might return in one of the future seasons. So this is basically for the upcoming 14.4 will be starting tomorrow, which is going to be a classified documents. But these classified documents is specified which is used for the operation with flagships. Take note on that part though, there will be a specified to do so up ahead. But in the clan battle season will be taking place for for PvP engagements, not on the PvE. Okay, so I would like to tell you now, this is gonna be a new session comes up to it. So anyway, well, let's get on this description. For this season, we plan to use the classified documents as a balancing tool instead of the standard restrictions for overperforming ships that usually get banned or otherwise limited. Classified documents can be chosen against specific ships on opposing teams during the pre-battle countdown. The default amount of classified documents a ship can be used is 2. However, depending on the ship's strength in the clan battles environment, it may be limited to 1 or even 0. Each document grants buffs tailored against a specific ship. For example, a classified document against Conqueror will increase your damage from all armaments by 10% when fired at Conqueror and reduce the risk of catching 5 per guns by minus 40%. Classified document against Austin will increase your damage for all armaments by 10% against Austin. Damage to his Citadel AP shells by 20%, and damage taken from all SAP ammunition from Austin will be reduced by minus 10%. So below you can check the format and restrictions of the new clan battle season are the following. The format is going to be a 7 vs 7 playing top tier ships. The restrictions is only battleships, destroyers and cruisers are allowed. No more than 1 battleship per team. And restrictions on particular ships we got Louisiana, Commissar and Hildebrand cannot be taken into battles. Now, for the classified documents for operation with flagships is a very similar for the scenario store, but operation with flagships is going to be featured in the clan battle. Some say you gotta might check it out directly up to it. Completing all dedicated missions gets you earn enough intel tokens to upgrade up to 5 classified documents to level 8. So this is basically would be same thing this happened at the start of update 14.4. The level cap for classified documents will be raised further with update 14.6. With the release to update 14.7, operations with flagships will end and all unspent intel tokens will be removed from players' accounts without compensation. Now there are content additions and changes are the following in this moment. There's no shortage of new content coming with update 14.5. Here's what else you can look forward to. So if you might check it out in the YouTube post up to this right now. So GQ Johnny, a tier 9 destroyer based on the heroic USS Johnston, enters the game with a battle scar hull and historical flag. The GQ Johnny owners will get a bonus, access to the new 4-piece still standing collection. Completion of this collection will award players with a Commander Ernest E. Evans with enhanced skills, GQ Johnny flag, and still standing achievement. On top of that, 4 new commanders are joining the fray. So Marina Carmen Fernandez and Ruby Monroe both are individual voiceovers. Clint R. Fletcher and John L. Warden, as well as the experimental ships Group I flag. And additionally, a new pin-up summer permanent camouflage will be added. So 2 new enemy destruction events are the triple boom, triple detonation, and boom. So the next one, William de Este, the upcoming tier 10 Dutch battleship will get a second set of airstrikes with aircraft-based ASW as promised in the devlog where the ship was announced. Rocket anti-aircraft armaments will be getting a visual and sound improvement, with the AA mounts themselves getting a better visual representation on ships which utilizes rocket AA. Several containers will receive an update to the contents with this update. But if you might check it out for this content, you be sure to visit a World of Warships DevBlog link down in the description below. Someday the Wings of Freedom containers, including the premium containers. Now the Battle Apostle de Patria premium containers, including a Japanese squadron containers, is just about recent changes though. Okay, so that concludes right now for the close test 14.5 to take it on for some upcoming public tests will be taken on. Okay, so let's move on right now for the upcoming new ships for the close test 14.5 update. So before we're gonna do that, so don't forget up ahead to Like and subscribe my channel though. Alright, so let's get going. Now, let's start off with the new ships, which is going to be the Close-Test 14.5. As I explained for that, which is going to be, I read it for the World of Warships DevBlog. Without seeing right now in the World of Warships Twitch stream right now on the Friday night. On the Friday midnight, sorry. It was on the Philippine Standard Time. Now, we're getting ready for the upcoming Close-Test 40.5 new ships for rather historical and some are paper ships. Mostly for that, a hypothetical. Okay, so let's get started. So if you want to check it out, the historical infos about the new ships coming up, link down in the description below. Greetings, captains. Today we're pleased to announce several new ships coming soon to our game, including some very highly requested ships, as well as a new mechanic we're looking to try out. Okay, so the start off for the Tier 7 British battleship Royal Sovereign. Royal Sovereign is a member of the Revenge class battleship. It was built in Great Britain in the 1910s, before the Great War. She served all around the world under the ensign of the Royal Navy until 1944. During the Second World War, she took part in the major fleet actions like the Battle of Calabria, and later served in the Indian Ocean against the Japanese fleet. In 1944, she was transferred to the Soviet Union, where she served with the Northern Fleet as Archangels. So Archangels, I'm gonna explain right now in this detail below. So the last surviving member of her class, she was returned in 1949 and subsequently scrapped. In battle, Royal Sovereign will serve as a slow juggernaut, with secondaries boasting a high rate of fire compared to the ship's peers, as well as main battery guns are with typical Royal Navy improved HE shells that boast a higher fire chance and penetration. This, in combination with her hydroacoustic surge, submarine surveillance enhanced repair party, let Royal Sovereign move with confidence throughout the battlefield despite her low speed and lower than average hit points. Royal Sovereign should appeal to those who enjoy getting up in the face of the enemies, while being better able to avoid torpedo ambushes from submarines and destroyers. Now, so let's see goes on the parameters of the Royal Sovereign. So the hit points is 48,700, the plating in 26 millimeters. Torpedo protection 16%. The main battery is always 4x2 381 millimeter gun. The firing range is 18.6 kilometers. HE shell damage 6,300. The armor penetration 95 millimeter. Chances of crossfire 35%. And initial velocity 732 meters per second. For AP shell damage, we got 11,350 damage, AP velocity 732 meters per second. The reload time is about 30 seconds, 180 degree is about 45 seconds, dispersion 246 meters, and the sigma is 1.80. The airstrikes consist the reload time 25 seconds. We got 2 available flights. Number of aircraft in the attacking flight will be 1. The range is about 9 kilometers. The secondary armament, we got 8x1 152mm. Range is about 5.9 km. The reload time 4.2 seconds. HE shell damage 2,200. Chances of crossfire 12%. Initial velocity 940 meters per second. And the armor penetration 25mm. And for 4x2 102mm, the range is the same and the reload time is about 3 seconds. HE shell damage 1,500, chances of crossfire 6%, initial velocity 811 meters per second, and the armor penetration is 70 millimeters. The air defenses consist the 2x4 40mm, 16x2 20mm, 14x1 20mm, 4x2 102mm, and 2x8 40mm. The short range continuous damage per second 340, probability 70%, the action zone 2 kilometers. For the medium range, we got 126 continuous damage per second, 75% hit probability, the action zone will be 2.5 kilometers. And for the long range, we got 49 continuous damage per second, 75% hit probability, and the action zone 5.8 kilometers. So number of explosions in salvo will be 2, damage within the explosion 1,190, action zone 3.5 to 5.8 kilometers. Maximum speed 22 knots, 30 circle radius 660 meters, rudder shift time 30.5 seconds, surface detectability 30.4 kilometers, air detectability 7.8 kilometers, and detectability after firing main guns to smoke will be 12.7 kilometers. So now here's go over the consumables are for Royal Submarine. So the first slide we got damage control party, unlimited charges, repair party, and the short range high accuracy search. Similarly for those used for the British destroyers of the tech tree. And lastly for the fourth slot is the submarine surveillance, used to spot enemy submarines underwater. All stats are listed without crew and upgrade modifiers, but with the best available modules. The stats are subject to change during the testing. Now, let's go up ahead. The next counterpart is Archangels, a Tier 7 Soviet battleship. The British battleship HMS Royal Submarine was provided to the Soviet Union in lieu of the Italian battleship Giulio Cesare. While the war was ongoing, she served as a flagship of the Soviet Northern Fleet. Once Giulio Cesare was delivered to the Soviet Navy, Royal Submarine was returned to the UK. In battle, Archangels is the very opposite of Royal Submarine. She is best used for punishing enemies at medium to long range. She combines good AP shell characteristics with a better than average rate of fire and good accuracy. However, she pays for this impressive firepower with her low speed, lower than average HP, and weaker bow and stern plating compared to other Tier 7 battleships. She additionally carries the typical battleship consumables for her tier. Overall, she will serve as an effective supporting battleship to move forward position teammates. So the Archangels is a wide variety of the same hit points for the Royal Submarine counter. So I will not go on this read entirely. So if you might guess that already, that I fully read for the, and you know it's gonna be the, you might check it out as well. So the consumables are the following. You got damage control party, unlimited charges, and the repair party itself. Okay, so the next one is the British destroyer Buffalo, a member of the battle class destroyer, named after the battles of Buffalo. If you wanted to see, check it out in the link in the description. The only member of the battle class to see service with the Royal Navy in Second World War. She was present at Tokyo Bay for the Japanese surrender ceremony. She went on to continue her service post-war, taking part in the Spearhead Naval Review to commemorate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. Later on, she took part in British naval actions as part of the Suez Crisis, before being placed into reserve in 1958 and scrapped in 1966. In battle, Buffalo is the first torpedo-focused British destroyer. She carries her historical forward-only gun armament, meaning her gun-based firepower is limited compared to other destroyers at her tier. Like other British destroyers, she retains the ability to single launch her torpedoes, but additionally her torpedoes, launchers, and personality. But additionally, her torpedo launchers reload sequentially, one after another, coupled with a fast reload in general. This will mean Buffalo will always have some torpedoes ready, but it will take quite a while to reload a fuel full 10 tubes. The torpedoes themselves are average in terms of their alpha damage, speed, and range. Similar to other high-tier Royal Navy destroyers, she carries both a repair party and a smoke screen, but trades the hypnotic surge for engine boost. She also has good concealment, which will be vital for long-term survival, as she lacks the ability to shoot her out way of trouble. Buffalo might be the ship of choice for those who enjoy the torpedo playstyle with good chances to stay safe while taking some risk. Okay, so this is going to be the British destroyer Buffalo, named after the battle, and it officially goes on March 1 is This finally takes on a election of the mayor for Marikina City. So let's get started about the spy Floto. She was the member of the battle class destroyer before he was sucked right down for the Enderman, which is gonna get something items. Okay, so the British destroyer Buffalo is gonna be the same hit points like the sister ships. We got the Somme and the Jutland. Hit points is 80,400, plating 19 millimeter, main battery 2x2 130 millimeters. Firing range is 11.6 kilometers. HE shell damage we got 1,700, chances to cross fire 8%, and the initial velocity is 748 6 meters per second. AP shell damage we got 2,100, and initial velocity is 740 seats. Okay, so I might gonna think right now. If you wanted to see the specify about the parameters for the bar Pluto, it will be the same as usual. Okay, so unlike for the rest of the battle class destroyer for Jutland and some, the consumables are the following. The first slot we got damage control party is unlimited charges. The second slot repair party will be 2 charges. The third slot we got a smoke generator consumable, so the normal ones. And the fourth slot engine boost consumable. Now the next one is a tier 10 American destroyer Laffy. Laffy is a member of Allen and Summer class destroyer that was commissioned in 1944. She was named after the seaman Bartlett Laffy. He was commended about for the Medal of Honor throughout his actions of the American Civil War. So the Laffy was named after the seaman Bartlett Laffy, that a member of the Allied and Sumner class destroyers that was commissioned in 1944 that served in the several World War II operations, including the Normandy landings in Europe and the Battle of Okinawa in the Pacific. During the latter, the USS Laffy survived major damage from 6 kamikaze airstrikes and 4 bomb hits. She survived the onslaught and was returned to service. She continued an active United States Naval service until 1970s, before the last of her class retired for the US Navy. The motto is about the ship that would not die. And it basically means for that a quote is the ship went on the survival against the kamikazes, against some of that gotta be see that right now in the history. In battle, Laffy is a main battery focused destroyer, while her 127mm guns that do not have the best ballistics. Her toolkit will allow her to stay in the fight. She combines several powerful characteristics, including good for her tier concealment, improved defensive AE fire, and improved specialized repair teams consumable. Crucially, Laffy has a variant of the burst fire mechanic, similar to Spanish cruisers. The fire 3 salvos the short period of the time as cost of destroyers. Crucially, Laffy has a variant of burst fire mechanic similar to Spanish cruisers that fires 3 salvos in a short period of time at the cost of increased reload time, thereby allowing her to make quick, hard-hitting attacks. Additionally, like the new Tet 3 branch of American destroyers, Laffy also has the time-based smoke generator consumable, allowing the deployment of smoke almost on demand if used wisely. As trade-offs, her torpedoes are shorter in range and longer in reload compared to Geary, and her smoke capacity is not very high. Combining this with low average speed as well as a small hit point pool for the tier 10 destroyer, Laffy will have to pick her battles but can survive an extended fight in the situation calls for once. Laffy will excel in the hands of those players who can maximize the impact of the improved firepower without the use of her burst fire and smoke generator. So American Destroyer Laffy, we got hit points 80,500, the plating is 19mm, main battery 3x2 127mm, fire range is 12.4 kilometers. So we got something go on the consumables. We got damage control party will be unlimited charges, specialized repair teams that restore large chunks of HP. The third slot we're going forward to take now the third slot we got a smoke generator consumable, and the fourth slot is a defensive 85. Next one is a Soviet battleship Siberia, the tier 10. A further development of the Sovietsky Soyuz class battleship, which was considered after World War II, known as Project 24, including a possible armament of 457mm guns. The ship is named after Siberia, a vast region in northern Asia which made out most of the territory in the USSR. It was on the modern day part of Russia since the conquest. A more secondary focused take on Kremlin. Siberia is even more configured for close range engagements with her improved secondary battery. She also carries a combat instruction win that when activated by a secondary battery hits and potential damage improves from the main battery accuracy. Siberia is even more configured to close range engagements with her improved secondary battery. She also counts a combat instruction that when activated secondary wield hits and her main battery accuracy. The most unique element of Siberia is her repair party consumable. Her major downside is that of her deck plating thickness. Compared to Kremlin, it is thinner, meaning at range you can more vulnerable to incoming fire. This, combined with the lower than average main gun dispersion means that you will be ineffective at range. Additionally, she carries a conventional damage control party consumable rather than typical Soviet limited variant. Overall, Sibyl is a battleship that wants you to play aggressively. To get most out of her improved secondary combat instructions, her weakness in the long range can be mitigated on the run for things her new heel harmony. The next one is the French cruiser Admiral Martinique. The ship is named after the honor of Jean Martinique, the head of the French Naval Aviation Service who was killed in a German air raid on 1940. A hypothetical French conversion captured a German hybridized O-class battlecruiser with new French main battery guns and anti-aircraft weaponry. Compared to Hildebrand, Admiral Martinique focuses much more of her main battery guns rather than her aircraft, evidenced by the high accuracy and range. She retains the typical French cruiser engine boost, allowing her to redeploy rapidly to keep her guards at bay. To further enhance her ability to impact the battle, the Tesla has improved Okay, so compared to Hildebrand, Admiral Martinique focuses much more on her main battery guns rather than her aircraft, evidenced by the high accuracy and range. However, she also lacks the high diffusion surge typical of German cruisers, meaning torpedoes are a significant threat given her large size and poor agility. Her high base detection range would also allow make it more difficult without smoke. Now, she carries a single aircraft squadron of skip bombers split into two strikes. They are fast aircraft with bombs that have decent potential alpha damage, allowing it to make strong hits on the enemy. Players must be careful, however, as the squadron has a long countdown ship. Overall, Admiral Light focuses more of her main guns impact the barrel from mid to long range, while having a powerful alternative weapon in form of an aircraft when the situation suits her. The visual design Admiral Light is still not final and will be revealed in a later date. Okay, so I'm gonna see right now for the parameters. Let's start off for Soviet battleship CB. Okay, so the CBA is got for the secondary battery build. So the hit points 108,300. The same hit points like Kremlin. Damage plating got 32 millimeters. And here's how it's gonna work. So Emerald White Teak, however, is a parameter, but it looks like the same up ahead the German counterpart Hildebrand. For consumables, we got other following items, such as the Battle of Now, we are also now ready to show the visual design of previously announced ships come forward. So, I will gonna see right now for the YouTube post about this. So, the Italian battleship Marcantonio Colonna, the battleship Zaya Swobody, Tier 9, as well as the Japanese submarine I-56 1944 design. So, I hope you enjoy about the conclusion for the live reaction commentary so far. Okay, I got a bad feeling about this. I'm starting to slow up myself on taking energy. So that's it for today, and good luck for the opportunity for tomorrow is the update 40.4. So thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell notification icon. So let's get started to it. Okay, so I have very completely to do something.